Here we are in regard to Kenneka. A couple of things I want to talk about first before I get into some information. I have a lot of people just from my page who send me stuff in my emails, and I'm going to discuss all of that with y'all, but I want to cover some things real quick and be done with it. I want to say this, and I'm out because it can be a long conversation. Until I see one person actually from the Illuminati do something wrong to one person in America, I don't subscribe to that. Those people have been around since the 13, 14, 1500s. They're not going to expose themselves for one person. There are a lot of other possibilities on a large scale, but not for this situation. Let's stick to the facts. So in regard to Kenneka Jenkins, I don't believe her mother had any ill will toward her daughter. I think that she is legitimately grieving in her own way. I think that something really bad has happened, and I don't think she caused it. That's two things I want to get out the way. Let her mama live, man. Until y'all have facts, let the mom live and stop making up stuff until you have proof. If you have proof, show proof, not guesstimations, because you're tearing a family apart and you don't even have 100% facts. So let's get to Kenneka. I wanted to get those two out the way. Let's talk about what we do know, and let's talk about what we don't know. So what we do know is a young lady went to a party. The young lady did not return home after a party. The young lady's friends have returned home to a point. One of them ended up dying 2 days later, which y'all should really look into as well, and I'm going to talk about that also. That is one major point that we got to get involved in, because it makes total sense of somebody who have information, who was at the party, who is now dead, and for whatever reason they can't tell what they knew. Not saying that they did know, just saying it's kind of weird that that person is now dead, and they were in the room, they were a friend of Kenneka's, and they are no longer here due to a car accident, a freak car accident a couple of days after the incident at the hotel. Let's go to that point and let's stay there for a minute. Not many people who are doing these videos are talking about that young lady. Go do your research and look up a second victim of the hotel situation, and you'll find the information on it. I don't remember her name directly, and I don't want to take up too much of your time, but look it up. It was a young lady who got killed in a car accident. She was with the young lady. She was with one of the other people who came to the party with Kenneka. She ended up passing away after the accident. So there that is. Let's move on. We still have not gotten our information in front of the Federal Bureau of Investigations. We still need to have an investigation into whether Kenneka's civil rights were violated in any way, shape, or form in the manner in which she was found. I really, really believe that a lot of stuff is wrong in regard to this situation with Kenneka, and I do believe that her civil rights may have been violated on a very, very high level. But the FBI can come in and do that investigation. The FBI can come in with resources that a small police department like Rosewood or Rosemont or whatever the name of that city is did not have. Another reason why the FBI can come in is because they're not tied to Cook County. In regard to whatever may be going on, they can look at it from an objective view and give the people some answers outside of Cook County legacy. The coroner, all of these people are Cook County. You know, the police department, everybody is Cook County. So if there are secrets, there are things that are going on for years in Cook County, they're not going to expose themselves. They're going to protect themselves. We need somebody from the outside to come in and do work to figure out what happened to this young lady, how she ended up in that freezer, and why it looked like she went through hell. That is 3. So let's talk about the next one, which is now they're making excuses to why Kenneka's clothes were off. And I read about it. It's a phenomenon that can occur on a very small basis to people who are experiencing hypothermia. I don't really subscribe to that. I think they're using that as an excuse to why her clothes were off. I've seen pictures of this happening before, And let me tell you something. You're not going to expose your titties before you take your jacket off. I've never seen in any instance where a woman, especially that has been suffering from this particular thing, because it is a thing. It is really a phenomenon that can occur, but it happens so very rarely that But they had to bring it up, of course, because they're trying to shadow what's really going on. But there is a thing that can happen when you are going into hypothermia, that in some rare cases you will go into a panic and your mind is so many places and you've already bypassed that threshold where you're fighting for your life, and then you start to go into this cold sleep mode and then you panic. So panic, I'm assuming, is when you start to take off clothing because you feel a certain kind of way. I don't know the exact explanation or terminology, but there is a phenomenon that can happen. Very rare, doesn't happen all the time. And it's kind of weird that they're bringing this up, now as an explanation to why Kenneka's clothes are off. Her clothes were probably off and her shoe was off. More than likely, it looks like her foot was damaged, like she had been kicking, fighting. Her hand was in a position, looked like that it was cupping something or trying to reach for something. Her face, if you look at one of her arms, it looks like she had been trying to shield herself at a certain point. And why would you have your titties out before you take your jacket or your shirt off? It just doesn't make sense. I read into that phenomenon that they're talking about. Usually you take off your large clothing processes first. So your coat, then your shirt, then your bra, then your pants, then your underwear, then your socks, then your shoes, it's kind of shaky, brother, to go with that phenomenon as an explanation. I could get that if the young lady didn't have bruises everywhere, if she didn't have a busted lip, if she didn't have blood on the floor, if there was articles of stuff in the freezer with her. I could roll with that. I can't roll with that after seeing those pictures. Had they said that was the case prior and we saw no pictures, then I probably would have been okay with that. I'm not okay with that explanation after seeing those pictures. That young lady was definitely sexually assaulted. The young lady was definitely accosted or assaulted, and it's not funny. It's very sad, because if this is a continual thing that's happening, and it just so happened to be that these people that it got let out of the bag because Kenneka was found dead, and this is an ongoing thing, this is very scary. And if you have daughters or sons in that area, you should be very alarmed, because of the fact that this may not be the only person that this has happened to, or this may not be the last person that this has happened to. So, none of this is funny. None of this is put in, none of this is outside of the scope of what has been done to our people. So it could be a lot of things that could have happened, but we need the FBI to come in and find out what happened. An autopsy needs to be done. They need to check to be sure that this young lady does not have puncture wounds, does not have anything surgical that was done to her as far as her organs and stuff like that. Even though she is now deceased, they can dig up the body and have her taken to another coroner for another autopsy outside of Cook County, which is something that is highly needed, so that a coroner outside of the Cook County exchange can find out if there was foul play, if there was secrets being shielded, if, anything that could have been missed, they will find it. And sometimes it's better to do an autopsy later on, because certain things can come to the body after they take certain times to show. So we may get more information by doing that. It's called exhumation of a body to be sent to another coroner. So that's something that needs to be done. The FBI can do that. Excuse me. I'm sure Kenneka's mom probably cannot, and I'm not being disrespectful. That is a very, very expensive situation. She may not be able to afford to have that done on her own. If she needs to raise the money, there are so many celebrities from Chicago that should be able to help this mother get justice for her daughter, help her pay for this exhumation, help her pay for another coroner to look at this child, have her help her get a private investigator to get involved, somebody that's really good in this game, to find some answers and get some answers. I dealt with that. I'm moving on. So we still do not know how the drug topiramate got into her system. Topiramate is a drug that is for epilepsy, to deal with epileptic seizures and relief of seizures. It's also in relief of migraines, super migraines, for people who get bad migraines. They verified with the family that Kenneka was not on that medication of any type. They verified that Kenneka was not epileptic, nor did she suffer from migraines or any kind of migraines. What we do know that in a video that someone actually said, Kenneka, you need to drink. You need to drink. There were several references to a part of the party where somebody kept telling Kenneka that she needed to drink. So is that the person, or does that person know who spiked that drink with that topiramate? And have they verified prescriptions for the people who were there at the party? Because they may have had prescriptions, and they may be the one who has slipped her that topiramate, knowing what it would do if she mixed it with alcohol to her, so that she would not be, so that she would be easy to take down. Let's say it that way. Where did the topiramate come from? Where did it first, where was it first introduced? How did it get to the party? Why did it end up in what she drank, and how did it get in her system? We need to find that answer out. We're done with that. Let's move on again. All right, so I also brought up a point, whereas there has been a continual problem with trafficking, sex trafficking, in the area of the Chicago O'Hare Airport for years. This hotel, along with many others in that circle of hotels and in that area that deals with the airport, has had continual issues. Arrests have been made, people have been imprisoned, and this hotel at one point in time, I think, was named as a place where young ladies were being taken for certain reasons and pimped out and all kind of stuff. And that I would definitely look into, because this young lady was not ugly at all. She had a shape to her. She was, she could have been, you don't know. I mean, these people are sick in this world. You do not know what could have happened, and we don't know. But that's something that needs to be looked into very quickly, because it's scary. Let's move on from there. We also need to figure out how there is a video showing Kenneka being walked out the front door, and no one is paying attention to this video. There's a guy who has a play-by-play. He has a Jamaican sounding accent, and he shows what I believe is Kenneka being walked out by some gentlemen who showed up to the party late. And after that, you don't see Kenneka anymore. And then you see the scramble of the security guard, or so-called security guard, trying to find Kenneka. And he was there in the beginning before she got walked out. So it's a lot of weird things. I mean, y'all should really, I don't have the name of the video, but Reby Smith, Planet of the Fakes, a lot of those have some good details. I just wanted to bring that up. There's another video by Reby Smith that shows Kenneka in the party, and it says that she was bullied. It shows where she was bullied. It shows why she was bullied. I don't want to go into all these details, but I'm just saying to you, there is some resources out there if you want to look them up. They showed her actually in the video, after she had been punched in the face, sitting in a corner with a tissue from where she was crying. Now, if you watch this video, it's going to be very hurtful to you, because a lot of the culture in Chicago has to do with this video. And they believe that because of the fact of where she lived and who she who she hung with, let's put it that way, that this had an issue with how she died because she was a minority at a party with some people who were in the majority that did not like where she lived and the people that she hung with. If I can put that in any other way that's clear, then that would be the best way I can say that. Look at the video, judge for yourself. It's very sad, and it does make a lot of sense. And if you put two and two together, if you look at that video and then you put the one with the Jamaican guy together, it makes like sense to say that these people took Kenneka out for various reasons, that she was in the wrong place at the wrong time, she didn't have the right people with her, and basically whoever wanted to do what they wanted to do to her could have that day because she was the minority. Very, very sad. And if you moved into the Jamaican guy's video, after she was bullied and smacked and whatever in the room, then the Jamaican guy's video is kind of showing where she's being walked out to the front door, and then you never see her again. Very, very sad, man. And there's no way you can make this up. So if I will try to post comments at the bottom of the video when I find the names before I post this video. If you look down at the bottom in the comments, I want to put the names of the videos on there so that you can go and do some research for yourself and see this. I believe after looking at everything that I've seen, that is what happened to Kenneka. It makes perfect sense. That's how she got all dirty. That's how she got all bloody. They took that young lady outside and they took care of her. And basically they took care of her to a point where she no longer is here. And then if you look at those videos, you'll understand what I mean, because they make perfect sense. She got bullied, she got beat up in the room, and then they forced her downstairs so that they could take care of whatever issue they had left. And then they left her for dead. The scary part about that is this may not be a one-time incident, because a lot of people in the hotel look like they're connected with this situation. It's a major cover-up through the hotel, and because that hotel probably has been there for so long, and the business that this hotel generates and the person who owns it, it's just a lot going on right now, man, and it's very, very scary because nobody seems to be able to come up with a concept to put these people away. So I'm done with that part. So let's stay together, people. Let's keep our stuff coming. Let's come up with good answers so that when the FBI does decide to take this case, they have some proper videos to look at. They have some ideas where they can go back and say, hey, that does make sense. Let me look at this. Or we help them to a point where they can at least just get started, Whereas they can just get started and say, hey, man, look at this guy's video right here. Damn, bro, you gonna kill me? Look at this guy's video right here. It makes perfect sense for this could have happened. And then they have to investigate it from that platform. And in a lot of cases, we may be able to help solve a crime. And that's beautiful that we can look out for our sister and get his family some deserved peace. Like I said, man, it's a lot going on. This needs to be looked at, man. And it's very sad because if this is something that is continual or has been continual, and it just so happened that Kenneka was the one that got found out of many, that's very scary. Let's continue to use the information that we have properly. To everybody putting out good information that's not getting paid for being on YouTube, God bless you. To those who putting out good information that do get paid for your numbers on YouTube, thank goodness that you took the time to put forth an effort to help find this young lady and her killers, because we don't believe that this was accidental. Y'all keep me informed, I'll keep y'all informed. But either way, we're gonna have to find some answers on our own, it looks like, because there's nobody here to help us. So holla.